TIL of Marcel Marceau, a French mime who used his acting skills to save Jewish children during World War II. He smuggled them over the Swiss border and would mime to keep them happy and get them to stay quiet. He saved at least 70 children. Fun fact, although Marceau never spoke on stage, he did once famously speak in a film. He appeared in Mel Brooks' silent movie in 1976 and said the only word, "Non." He performed at my university over 50 years ago and I was a student stagehand working behind the scenes. After the show he took time to come around and thank each and every one of us for the work we did. A true class act. He also famously conned a Nazi platoon ** into surrendering as he bluffed that they were surrounded. And when he unexpectedly ran into a group of German soldiers near the end of the war, he pretended, https://www.com/2007/09/27/Marceau beloved for artistry helping World War II orphans / he was a member of the French army and demanded they surrender. They did, all 30 of them. From https://www. History.com/news/Marcel Marceau World War II French Resistance Georges Loing https://www. History.com/news/Marcel Marceau World War II French Resistance Georges Loing Marceau's father, a butcher, died in Auschwitz. "If I cry for my father," said Marceau, "I have to cry for the millions of people who died. I have to bring hope to people," Marceau remembered thinking after the war. He was also friends with Michael Jackson for nearly 20 years and Jackson said he used some of Marceau's techniques in his own dance steps. A French mime. The French mime. Literally the only mime most people have ever heard of, unless you count Robin Williams. So, he was literally a human child trafficker. One of the rare times you can say that with complete authority and not be grossed out. They made a movie about him this year. https://www. imdb.com/title/tt6914122/ TIL Marcel Marceau helped save Jewish children during WWII. I thought he was just a famous mime. He who saves one life, saves the world entire. Dude saved 70 children from the Holocaust at extreme risk. Hero. The mime you get in Pokemon Red/Blue is pre-named Marcel. No way that's a coincidence. First kid, oh god, not the walking into the wind bit again. Second kid, shut up, would you rather be dead? Finally a scenario where I'd actually choose to be trapped with a mime over the alternative. Now I know who Chandler was referring to. He was a French mime who became famous for miming in English and many other languages. I saw him live. He was amazing, I'll never forget it. So moving, so compassionate, and so funny. Normally I have no patience for mimes, but Marcel Marceau is the exception. I think I finally understand why. The talking Marcel Marceau statue joke from Beetlejuice. Lot of European entertainers were in the resistance. They had long leashes and more freedom to travel than most people, but were at great risk nevertheless. Another such picture of Josephine Baker, American-born entertainer, in her resistance uniform, complete with medals, obviously shot in D.C., maybe even the 1963 March on Washington, to judge by the size of the crowd. https://pinimage.com/736x/2/d227c/d227c/d0481733c32e0D71680D72e46 French Resistance Josephine Baker. JPG. According to Wikipedia, https://en. Wikipedia.org/wiki/Marcel_Marceau, he was Jewish as well. We should put this guy on the $20 bill. I have a historical fact in my eyes, gotta go. Yes. I can't believe I finally get to tell this story. I took 7 years of mime at a performing arts school in the Midwest from a man named Frank Borst that studied directly under Marceau. It was intense and hard as fuck. Borst was super stringent on holds and breathing. He said this was important as it stressed the character of the illusion. Marceau also worked with Michael Jackson on a ton of his stage technique and even helped influence the moonwalk. Probably in the article, but if not, Google the pressure walk. Marceau described mime as the art of silence, and as off-kilter as it is, it was so satisfying to see this invisible creations appear just by our muscle flexes and breathing techniques. Mime is so weird, and I always get a strange reaction, understandably, when I tell anyone I studied it so intensely. We would spend 6 hours a day, 5 days a week just holding these intense poses, and working the fuck out. Just so much focusing on breathing, and by the end of the years, the results were scary believable. Crazy fact: he also used an imaginary rope to save a drowning horse at one point. I'm not sure how it worked exactly, but essentially he made the horse believe that he was being helped, and this gave the horse the confidence to push out of the mud its legs were trapped in and get back to shore. Didn't Chandler reference him in an episode of Friends, or did I imagine that? For some reason all I can think is, this is the movie Jerry Lewis should have made. He was the one that inspired Michael Jackson's moonwalk. Marceau mimed walking in wind, and Jackson saw it because they knew each other, and he made a dance move out of it. I'm not taking anything away from this selfless act of heroism, but mimes. This should be in his wiki and it's not. Update: it was in early life, where I didn't think to look. I still think that it deserves its own section. The Pokemon Mr. Mime traded to the player in Pokemon Red and Blue version was given the nickname Marcel after this mime. He never talked about it. I imagine it would be pretty terrifying to try and smuggle people, knowing that if you're caught it's all over. But for the people you are trying to save, it would be all over for them anyway. Marceau was himself Jewish, further increasing the jeopardy he put himself in by rescuing the children. Saw him perform live. Absolutely phenomenal. I did not know that about Marcel Marceau. Any biography recommendations, my well-read Reddit crew? Edit. And when he unexpectedly ran into a group of German soldiers near the end of the war, he pretended he was a member of the French army and demanded they surrender. They did, all 30 of them. Badass mime. Marceau was the most famous mime who ever lived. Everyone older knows who he is just from that. He used to make appearances on American TV shows. Not all heroes wear capes, some wear slightly off-putting makeup. I trained, as a mime, under one of his students. My teacher thought Marceau a saint. Dank mime. I know this is random, but I learned classical mime techniques from one of Marcel Marceau's students back in my high school theater days. I had put together an ensemble pantomime that won Critics' Choice at our yearly theater competitions. For winning, we had a one-on-one workshop with the lady herself. Her name is Graciela Benegai, and she was super old but moved like a ghost when teaching us techniques. Random, but just one of those things I never get to talk about. LOL. In either 1977 or 1978, when my dad was stationed in Germany, I took a trip with the art classes to Paris. They were short on students and I was on photography class, so, art. But one night they took us to the theater. We got to watch Marcel Marceau perform. It was definitely cool, and I have several shaky B&W pictures somewhere of him on the stage. Mime might be the butt of many jokes, but he made it into an art. Learning that he helped Jewish kids during World War II only makes him more amazing. How would you like to be in the first silent movie made in over 40 years? https://youtube.b/es13sk7eg. I don't know if the way the title is written is intentional or not, but Marcel Marceau is a well-known mime. Textbook historical figure, even. I did not know about his World War II humanitarian activities though. Would mime to keep them happy, scared, and get them to stay quiet. Fixed. Resistance 2020 is a film coming out soon, with Jesse Eisenberg playing Marcel Marceau. I knew it sounded similar since I watched the trailer a few days ago. Wow, I always knew the name. Didn't know about this history. And the most amazing thing was how humble he was. He never spoke of these acts of heroism. Ever. I was lucky enough to meet Mr. Marceau at a meet and greet prior to a performance around 2001 to 2002. He was kind, very humble, and just oozed wisdom. He was one of the most unique and interesting people I've ever met, and I only had dinner with him.